Hello and welcome to We Got a Podcast, a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z. From Earth to Namek to Sadala, we cover it all. My name is Doug.
And I'm Randy.
That's right, you are. We're the world's strongest under the heavens duo here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Randy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles today. I feel very powerful. I feel amazing.
You feel supersonic.
I feel hypersonic.
Super Randy.
No,
super.
Hyper.
Hyper. Dang, I was going to do the thing with my Vegeta thumb and like putting my face. I'm super Randy, but no, you feel hyper?
Go. I mean, that's what happens. You get the Chaos Emeralds turn supersonic, and then once you start
like white or something, right? So it's like
white goldish.
Ultra Instinct, Sonic. I'm sure there's definitely fan art of that out there.
Oh, yeah. And then when you start the and Knuckles portion, you lose all of your emeralds, and now you get the super emeralds, which then turns you into hypersonic.
Just so dumb when you have to call it the and Knuckles portion.
Well,
that's fantastic. We all know what you mean, but when you say it out loud, come on, man.
Video games are dumb. But I love
video games. I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. Is it still called Yakuza? I don't know. Like a Dragon. You know what I mean?
Right. That Yakuza 7 / Like a Dragon 7.
Yes. I got it free for PlayStation Plus, and I just bought myself a PS5, so I'm like, yeah, let me try this game out. And I hopped into it wanting to, like, just a fun, goofy, beat-em-up kind of game. Mm-hmm. And then I was pleasantly surprised by, like, just the amazing story that I was sucked into immediately.
Yes.
It's like, I'm so invested in this story now, and like I need to, and I already love the main character. It's like, all right, let's go. I'm down.
Man,
the whole Dragon Questy kind of like play style of it, I love it.
That's right, because that one is more turn-based RPG, unlike the previous 6/7, which are action games.
Yeah, I mean both are great in their own respect, and like I can't wait to get more party members because I got one. And I'm like, oh, the possibilities in this are so big. But yeah, it's great. But Randy, this is our 42nd episode, is it not?
It is. It says number 42 here on the outline, and I hope I'm counting right.
I mean, who knows? But I feel like that's a special number in Dragon Ball Cosmos, seeing as there are 42 volumes of the manga.
True.
Is that the original release, or am I thinking of the Kanzenban? Kanzenban's less. It's 34, isn't it?
Original is 42. Yeah.
Kanzenban is 34. I remember that because I bought Kanzenban 34 from Tanuki Joe, back before I knew him super well, just for using the forums.
Before we knew him and his mayonnaise fame, yes, we know.
Right. And like it never got to me. Like it was just like I've been like I check the mail like every single day. Like, is it here yet? Is it here yet? Never showed. I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Tanuki, I never got it. And then he's the nice guy he is. He just like refunded me and then gave me an extra $10 for my trouble. I guess. I don't know. I think it wasn't for my trouble. I think he just forgot how much I bought it for, so he just gave me $10. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
Well, if he's listening, now he's going to be like, so that's where that extra $10 went.
So, hey, if you ever need $10, Joe, you know I owe you, so.
I hear him knocking at the door now. He's here to fucking take your shit.
It's me, Joe. No.
Please, it's a me, Joe.
I'll just let him win in Mario Kart sometime. Then we'll be even.
There you go. I think that's totally fair.
Randy, what are we here to talk about today? I never know.
You never know, which this is very exciting. So last time we talked about our boy Trunks.
Yes.
And
Trunksu.
That is what we all should call him, Trunksu.
No, please don't.
And, I was thinking about when we talked about what makes him cool. And one of the things is, of course, his sword. And then I thought, there are other swords in Dragon Ball, so let's talk about swords in Dragon Ball.
There are. Yeah, now that you mention it, I'm thinking like, I think of one other one, which is Trunks' future sword, but like, no, there are other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, cool. So
let's do it.
I've written down a list of a bunch of them that, certainly not comprehensive.
Can I guess? And then you check off the ones that I can remember?
I tried to put them in chronological order.
I'll try to go chronologically.
Okay, let's go for it. And hit me with
I'm
the
already
first one.
I can't think of a single one. No, there's a bear with sword. Episode 1, baby. Bear with sword TM is his name, official name.
TM, yes, absolutely.
I made him. I know that because I made him in like a Little Big Planet level, so I had to like draw him completely out of scratch from Little Big Planet. And
nice.
Yeah, I was pretty proud of myself for that.
What kind of sword does he have?
It's like a Chinese kind. Like it's It's a very extra. Is it a good way to say? You know what I mean? Like it's very extra.
Yeah. It's got a curve. It's got like a hole punch like through it or whatever. Like on the back end. Yeah. There's somebody else that pops up soon after that also has a sword.
Classic. Who else has a sword? I can't think of anyone in Dragon Ball. There's still some in Dragon Ball, right? I feel like Dragon Ball specifically, there's so many like probably.
Episode 3, this person shows up with a sword.
Episode 3? No, I don't know. You tell me.
He sticks around for the entire series.
Oh, fucking Puar. Just kidding, Yamcha.
There we go. I feel like you were stalling.
I was stalling. Yeah.
Okay. I caught you. But yeah, Yamcha's got a sword that he attacks our poor boy Goku with.
Yeah. There was like great animation that when we saw a movie, either 1 or 2, where they retell the meeting.
Yes, 1.
And like that fight scene was like glorious. I remember that.
Yeah, man. His sword is very similar to the bear's in that it's like a scimitar curved
Is it
one.
Is like a Chinese style sword? Is that what it is? Why it's like a common?
So here's the thing. I did a lot of my research using Dragon Ball Wiki, which I don't think is super accurate for a lot of things. But they had said that his sword is called the Azure Dragon Sword, but I could not find any other...
To back that up.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if that is a specific style or if that is just like, this is what fandom has decided to call his legendary sword. So
well, I feel like I see a lot of those kind of swords in Jackie Chan films specifically. That's the only reason why I associate it with China more likely. Because, I mean, you think Japan swords, you think samurai, and they're like the thinner kind of blades. So I don't know. That could be just my ignorance and not knowing, but my American association of swords.
You also got to keep in mind that Dragon Ball is an adaptation of Journey to the West, which is a Chinese story. This takes place in Paozu and things like that, which is very China-inspired.
Starts out very Journey to the West, so it makes sense if it's Chinese. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. There's somebody else that pops up later with a sword. There's Tao Pai Pai, who has a sword for a little bit.
Does he?
I saw screens from the anime that I'm like, oh, okay, he had a sword. I didn't remember that. It didn't last very long.
I believe it, but it just doesn't ring a bell.
Well, there's another one around that same time. One of your favorite villains, if I remember correctly. Murasaki has a katana, that's right.
Hell yeah, he does. One of the brothers does.
One of the other one has like
a gun. Yeah. I love that we both thought of that.
Can't forget Murasaki with a gun.
Classic.
It's like Farmer with shotgun. Murasaki
yes.
with
handgun.
My
God. We need Farmer with a sword.
Right. I don't think Murasaki uses his all too much. I think it probably also gets broken by Goku in their fight in Muscle Tower, but
yeah, only sticks around for a few panels.
Right, because he's more of a gag guy, so he's not going to fight with a sword. He's got other tricks. Yajirobe also has a katana.
Of course. Yes, he slices Vegeta in the back with it. That's what I remember from it. But yeah, he had it in Dragon Ball too. It's just a weapon he has.
Right, yes. It's what he uses to survive. And he kills, I believe, Symbol with it. So,
that's right. Doesn't he cook him?
Yeah. He cooks him afterwards.
Jesus.
Like the cold mofo that Yajirobe is.
Yeah, all of a sudden you see him roasted on a fire and you see the bone and him cut off and everything. Man.
It's cold and it's cool, and then that character goes nowhere, which is fine. Not everybody has to be. It was
so fun to see Yajirobe, his intro in Dragon Ball in Japanese, because he has the same voice actress as Krillin, right?
Right, yep, exactly.
So when they inevitably meet, don't they have a little gag about that? That's not in the manga. I think because of the voice, you sound funny, you sound stupid, or something like that.
Yeah, I want to say it might have been early Z or something like that, because it seems like that's what I would remember versus Dragon
early
Ball
Z, late Dragon. Well, yeah, obviously that's where Yajirobe is only around mostly.
Right, that is his premiere time. We have Gohan, who has a training sword while he's...
I was gonna say, speaking of roasting creatures on a fire, I think of Gohan, his sword, and the dinosaur tail that he chops off.
Yep,
little by little whenever he gets hungry.
It's a Roman gladius-style sword with a bell guard. And do you remember where he gets this sword?
Does Piccolo magically, out of thin air, just give it to him along with his clothes? His
We don't talk enough about how Piccolo can just magically manifest clothes, because he does his cape and stuff a couple of times, and of course Gohan's outfit. But then, his sword. He can just make a sword.
He just out of no matter. That's so wild.
Should have done that when Nappa and Vegeta land and like, okay, guys, everybody gets a sword. Just, all right.
It's just his demon power, like that. Just he can just conjure up anything he needs at the time. Mm-hmm. Man, that could have went somewhere with that, but I like that he just to make clothes, just to make it easy.
Piccolo used to have so many mysterious powers. He could lift pyramids with his mind. He could
speak alien.
He could split himself into multiple parts to train and then recombine.
He could become super huge and tall.
Right. He could be real stretchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stretchy part. Damn, especially movie 5. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
A great.
And then he can make swords. Bring back old weird Piccolo. That's what I want.
I wish there was a side portion of us seeing Piccolo sewing an outfit for Gohan, like that he didn't have the power, but Toriyama still needed Gohan to have a new clothes, new outfits. So you just see Piccolo sewing away.
Fenyo, I'm looking for that drawing, please.
Yes. That's what I love about Fenyo. He doesn't make like what if stuff. He actually does like what actually happened in Dragon Ball, but that we don't see. Mm-hmm. Man, that human is so talented. So
such a beautiful soul.
Yes.
DBZ movie 1. We have some new swords. We have henchman body swords.
Yeah, those are so gross. Jesus.
Ginger produces 2 scimitars out of his arms.
Yeah.
And gross, Nikki just pulls a long-ass one out of his thigh.
Yeah, but still so cool. Like, it's just... Why are swords so cool? I don't know. It's just,
swords are just rad. Like, you got to get in there. You've got to actually you've got to have skill. Not that I'm saying that shooting a gun doesn't have skill. Like, obviously, there's marksmanship.
No, otherwise, I would say there's definitely more skill in sword play than gun play.
There's more risk, I think, because if the other guy's got a sword, you're both. Someone's gonna get cut.
Yeah, but then they die with pride. He's like, yeah, I actually worked at my sword talent, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, swords are cool. I don't think any of that makes it cool. I just think just the embodiment of a sword, just having a blade is just so tight.
Mm-hmm. And then having them out of your own body. I mean, you can carry them anywhere. It's great.
I mean, the way they like spawn it out of their body and it flip, like they flip it around, like that had style. Yep. The way the animators drew that was so cool.
Yeah, man. The confidence Ginger has when he pulls out his sword, flips around, and and then he laughs all of 10 more seconds.
Yeah, and that's it.
He does cut Goku's hair, though. So we know that's impervious to blades.
Mm-hmm. Someone's got Goku's DNA out there.
Then I don't think we have a lot of swords for a while until Trunks shows up with.
You think
his
that's
sword.
What makes it like extra cool? Is like it's been such a long time since swords, and then all of a sudden this guy has a sword.
Yeah, because the last one we saw really in the manga would have been Gohan, and he didn't really do a lot. Like it was just like chopping off a dinosaur's tail and then cooking it. That's all it kind of was.
It's a very survival. When you think survival, you think, oh, I need a weapon. So like it made sense in his like 1 year of training. So to get rid of it, I don't think Gohan would have played well as a sword character.
Yeah. I don't think there's also a lot of fanfare for previous characters with swords. Yamcha probably more so, but like Trunks does the whole thing where he's like flipping it around and it just like lands in his sheath and stuff like that. So,
well, you think maybe that's because of the evolution that Dragon Ball had to go through with how first it became like it was a journey to the West, then it became more about the martial arts, so swords had to be taken away. And then once Dragon Ball got to the point where it was all like ki blasts and like super fast punches that you can't even see, to bring a sword back adds more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the evolution of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, because then we get an influx of more swords after Trunks shows up. We have Dabura, who has his like sword of darkness or whatever that he also just manifests out of nowhere. Yeah. Which is like apparently it is similar to a Chinese Dadao longsword.
Dadao.
Dadao. That's a great name. You got a good one there, guys. We don't know much about it. He just produces it and uses it, and that's kind of that.
I mean, doesn't have to be like a special thing.
No,
until you get to obviously the Z sword?
The Z sword, which is a long sword, and for once we actually have actual story kind of about it.
Yeah,
and stuff added over time.
It made it lamer, I think.
Well, I mean, first it was like legendary, like an Excalibur type thing, where it's like, you have to be strong enough to pull it out.
Which is also, I think that was kind of lame too, because everyone knows Excalibur, so you automatically think of that. I don't know. Well, it felt kind of lazy.
I think it worked out because they weren't like you have to be the chosen one. It's just nobody is strong enough. Like it's apparently a brute strength thing.
That's true, yeah. But then at that point we were already so unimpressed with Supreme Kai and everyone. Like, they are underestimating the characters we know. So, of course, anyone's going to come up and pull this sword out.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
But apparently it was an ancient sword that, was thrown. It was in the rocks for the longest time, and no Kaioshin could lift it. And then over time we learned that it was from some argument that Beerus had with the old Kaioshin, and then he sealed him in a sword.
I don't know anything about that, or I just forgot about that, or whatever, out of my head. Is that really what happened? Like, I mean, of course, it's super canon.
Right, yes. I don't recall exactly what the point the information was shared, but apparently that was the added lore to it, was that
so many things are better left as a mystery, and super just like, no, we gotta give reason to it.
Yeah.
No, just leave it alone.
It's the Star Warsification of Dragon Ball, where everything has to have a tie into something and a connection to everything else.
No. They want us to have that moment where we just point at the TV like, oh, that thing, I know that thing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, just leave it alone. But I wish the Z-Sword had more meaning for Gohan, I guess, or at least maybe like a callback when he finally gets it. Like, oh yeah, I used to have a sword when I was a kid. There's that kind of callback I kind of like, but they didn't do that at all, right?
Yeah. Just a throwaway line of like, oh, I haven't had one of these in forever. Like
something like that.
Man.
Yeah, something a little more fun. Toriyama's fun. He could think of a fun thing to say about it, but I mean, I guess he just chose not to, so that's whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's also...
We're just arguing now about, everything needs to be attached to lore, to previous stuff. Like, we hate that. And they're like, no, but I wish Gohan did. I don't know.
We're not asking for lore. We're just asking for just a little bit of a callback, or just a recognition of your own history.
One panel, which is one subtle line.
One line. Just one throwaway line. Mm-hmm. This sword was kind of... also interesting because it's very strong, but also very heavy. Like, even Gohan in his Super Saiyan form is like, man, this is hard to swing around. So I guess that was the whole thing of like, oh, you could use this, and having to exercise with it's probably going to get you very strong.
I did kind of like that aspect. Like, it was so heavy that he actually got stronger, like, just wielding the dang thing. So that's pretty cool.
And then it's also pretty durable, other than if you throw Kachin at it, which is the strongest material in the universe. Like, yeah, of course it's going to have a hard time with that.
Love that.
And also, it was defeated by Dabura's spit in Trunks' alternate future, where he was the one that pulled it out. Yes.
That I did kind of like, having future Trunks go up against those characters like Majin Buu, not Majin Buu, but Babidi and Dabura, because that was something that, would have happened in a natural flow of time. Mm-hmm. So I like that. Yeah,
that's a fun thing to add to it. And I appreciate that.
Did Trunks have a sword at that time, too? Like, did they go sword against sword?
I
think Trunks didn't.
At that time, I mean, he has it when he goes to fight like Goku Black and stuff. So not not the Z sword, because the Z sword's broken. But
no,
he could have double sworded it.
Oh God,
his one and then the Z sword.
Trunks could pull it off. Gohan can't, but I think Trunks could pull it off.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool to see.
Double sword. One is like paper thin and like not heavy at all. The other one's the Z sword. That'd be a weird balancing act he'd have to go through.
Well, obviously you use your beaten hand,
your dominant hand
for the strong one. You know what I mean? The one that gets more exercise. Sorry, that got very blue. Next sword, Tapion's sword, which is different than Future Trunks' sword.
If you say so.
I do say so, because it was made for use by the Konat's priest warriors to defeat Hildegarn, which is different than Future Trunks', which is
my
just
eyes
a sword.
roll back in my head so hard right now.
Why? Why? That movie is so good, man.
No, the movie is good. It's just the whole like this is Trunks' sword, and the insinuation that it's Trunks' sword.
Yeah, that one. Because
what was awesome about Future Trunks' actual sword was that it kind of was not anything special. It was just a sword, because everyone in his time had a weapon because of the dark times they're going through.
Yeah.
He's just another human trying to survive the androids, so he has a sword.
Yep, exactly. Any help you can have, he was going to take it. Speaking of Trunks and his sword, I have one other one here, which is the quote-unquote Sword of Hope.
Sword of Hope?
Yeah, so Super Saiyan Rage Trunks basically uses like a Genki Dama to form a sword blade over his broken sword to slice Zamasu in half.
Yeah, I like that. That was pretty... It made for a really cool action figure that I missed out on. I wish I would have gotten it. But it was like, you had to buy Trunks, and then you had to buy the sword separately. That's how big it was. So it was like, oh my God.
Hopefully they'll do a reprint and you'll grab it at some point in time.
Maybe. It wasn't an amazing figure, but it was enough for like... I just kind of regret it, not getting it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty flippin' cool.
Yeah. There's another sword.
What's another sword? That's all I got on my list.
I'm telling you there's another sword.
Oh, why don't you tell me, what did I miss?
Yeah, it's a very cool one. I'm trying to like see if I can give you a hint.
Yeah.
Without being too obvious.
Right. Come on.
It transforms into a sword out of like a club.
What? Oh, yes. How could I forget? I made the tweet with this. Janimba's sword.
Yeah. That sword is pretty dope.
Picks up an Oni club and it turns into a sword. It's got like this red crystal blade.
Yeah. That red crimsonness of it, and he like whips it up in the sky, and like kind of like Legend of Zelda Master Sword. When you hit it, a beam like flies out of it and just cuts Goku's shoulder in half. I was like, oh my god! Back in the days with Kazaa, I watched that scene like a million times, just like that 30 seconds of Goku's shoulders getting ripped. Like that's so wild.
Slicing the like blood pond droplet thing into man.
Yeah, it was a cool sword.
That one is cool. How did I forget that one? Like I said, I made a tweet about it, and I included a GIF of that. So, what a goof I am. Are there other ones that I missed that you can think of?
Not that I can think of. Maybe the audience can think of stuff, because I think there's a lot less in Dragon Ball Z. You touched in on Super. I'm sure there's some in GT.
I mean, Trunks has
you didn't do your
a
research
sword.
in GT, did you?
I didn't do a lot of GT research. You're right. I didn't even think about it. Didn't even cross my mind.
I'm thinking like the guy. I'm thinking of the guy with whips. I'm like, does he have a sword? No, he obviously has those like whips that come out of his body. I forget what character that is.
That's what Baby needed. Baby needed a sword.
Actually, yeah, he might be able to pull off a sword pretty well.
Look, who would rather you have a sword? Baby, Super 17, or one of those Shadow Dragons?
Not Super 17.
No.
Not the dragon. Yeah, I think Baby could have pulled it off.
Baby needs a sword. Hashtag Baby needs a sword.
Baby needs a sword. Let's get that hashtag trending.
For people who are not in the context of it, or be like, why does the baby need a sword?
No, they'll agree.
It's a baby.
They agree. Baby needs a sword.
Baby needs a sword. That's what we're gonna do.
What's that viral video that was like, what are you holding? A knife. No. Should just put Baby in there. It'd be fucking hilarious.
Man, I gotta get good at After Effects, so I could just put a
I know, that's the one
baby
thing.
model in there.
What about magical swords? Not magical, but more key-based swords.
Oh, well, that's right. We do have Vegito, who uses his hand
like sword
thing.
Yeah. Right. And then we have Zamasu with his...
that's right. Goku Black. Also, he's got like a energy sai.
Yeah, but he also has like the hand blade like Vegito does. Mm-hmm. Which, my theory, I'm pulling it out of my ass, is that it's you can't manifest ki in that form or shape unless you're like godly or magical. The same way you can't access Super Saiyan 3 unless you're like a fusion of magical creation or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, because we only see Vegito and Zamasu use it, and those two are like the strongest characters, arguably, in the whole series. They're the only ones that could do it.
It's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, why wouldn't you just do that all the time? I mean, Kuririn. I can't say words. Krillin. Krillin has, the Kienzan, which is not a sword, but it is a spinning blade of ki.
No, that's a completely different thing.
He can't hold it. He can't touch it.
Yeah. It's different just to like have the ability in your mind to concentrate the energy to form a sword around your hand.
Sure.
And to keep it constant. Like, it just takes that, and also you
got to be built different to do that. You
either got to be Vegito, Zamasu, or Sauza. It's the only ones that can. Three gods of Dragon Ball.
I think he has completely destroyed your entire thought process.
Yeah, my theory is out the window. Thanks, Sauza.
Oh, man. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about swords, or do we want to take a break and hear what other people had to say about them swords?
Swords are dope. I own a Sasuke sword. And let's cut to break.
Oh, shit. I need a sword. I don't have any swords. I got scissors over here that I used to open packages. Does that count?
I went as Sasuke one year for Halloween, and I went as him when he had the sword, obviously, and he had the Katsuki cloak. But because my friend, who I was like hanging out with during Halloween, going to parties, he hadn't read the manga, I had, so I knew about that. It would have been a spoiler. So I just bought a regular black cloak instead of the ones with the red clouds on it. I'm like, oh, this looks lamer because of not the red clouds and whatever.
Right.
There's me trying to save my friend from spoilers, but whatever.
I mean, it's not like he had actually joined that group. Whatever. We don't have to talk about Naruto forever.
It was a spoiler. It would have been a spoiler.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back with what other people had to say about them swords.
Cool.
Okay, we're back, and we've got some friends, some peeps, some cool people who had their thoughts about swords.
What do you some gladiators, warriors?
My sweet cheeses.
Cheeses? Is that what we're calling our listeners as cheesers?
No, it's a thing that I heard on What We Do in the Shadows. Somebody calls a friend of his sweet cheese. So I was like, okay, that's a weird thing.
It's kind of adorable in a cheesy kind of way.
Adorable. For that, you have to read the first one.
Okay, I will. From Jake Bay. What's up, Jake?
Yo.
Gohan's training sword. It gave me big Goku and powerful vibes. Oh, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that makes a point. Goku as a child trains with his weapon, and without knowing, Gohan does the same. It's a fun connection to both characters' early training days before they're able to blow up planets. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Huh. It's kind of like a new beginning with Gohan having his own weapon. Not as cool as the powerful Noibo, arguably, but I don't know. Something's very special about the Noibo, how simple it is and how it can extend and shit, you know?
Right. Yeah. Also being a gift from his grandfather, and then, of course, having a bigger, more, not cosmic, but, a heavenly aspect where it's like what you have to use to ascend to heaven. It's kind of a big deal.
Still like that connection, though, of them both having weapons like that as kids. I want, fan art of them, going, not head-to-head, but, butting.
Sparring.
Sparring. The pole and the sword clashing. That'd be kind of cool. And they're both smiling, yay, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool.
Right.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. This is from Tyler at Lil Rice Krispies, who says, there are so many cool swords in Dragon Ball. You got the Z sword, Kid Gohan sword he has, even Janemba's sword he makes that's in the post. But Future Trunks' sword will always be the coolest. The sword and the wielder both make it awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I think if it wasn't for Trunks holding it, the sword, because like I said, the sword is just a regular looking sword. But because it's Trunks, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something, I don't know, that's a combo, that it's a match made in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. We also had one more from Jacob Sawyer, who didn't write anything, but just showed a picture, and it's Trunks using the Sword of Hope against Zamasu. But what's interesting is Zamasu has caught the sword between his big monster hand and his own Keyblade sword.
His Keyblade thing. So it might be the scythe. We can't see because it's cropped.
He's not holding it. It's just extending out of his hand. So
that's true. So it probably is his.
There's two swords in this photo, Jacob. I don't know what your answer is.
That looks like a scythe. That looks like a scythe to me. I think that's.
Gotta go back and watch the tape. Go back to watch that episode of Dragon Ball Super.
That's a great. Even though I think out of context that moment is great. In context, I was like, all right, is this season over yet? Is this art done? It's dragging it out. But that moment with the Sword of Hope was really cool.
In context, that moment was hype. So I disagree with you. I love it.
No, I just mean it's better. Not better. I mean, you could appreciate it out of context.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's just crazy dope. It's a really cool sword, and Trunks has confidence for the first time since Frieza for that. So it's good.
I mean, they had to make him the winner of that instead of just Goku and Vegeta again. So it was a good way to do it. It's creative.
Heck yeah. So thank you everybody for giving those answers. I really appreciate it. We love talking with you and hearing what you guys have to say. But before we say goodbye, we've got Doug's favorite time, which is trivia time.
I hate this time. It always makes me look like an idiot. So I'm always put on the spot, and I never know these answers because you pick these questions.
I do, and I was not fair in this one. So here we go.
You never are. What do you mean?
Never. Sometimes I'm nice. What was the first fighting game to give Trunks his sword during his attacks?
No.
I will say,
I looked on the thread that you like posted the question for, and I was just like, oh, that's cool information. I wonder why he's asking that. It wasn't until like later on in the day, I'm like, oh, are we doing a podcast about swords?
I was like, do I want to bring this up here where Doug could easily see this conversation? But I'm like, he's not gonna catch on to this. That's fine.
I totally didn't catch on. I was kind of interested in the question, but I'm like, no, if Randy knows it, he'll tell me during the podcast. He's not gonna like trivia ask me, make me guess.
No, okay, gotta keep you on your toes.
Now I gotta like think back at what the message said. I saw Ultimate Battle 22 on there, but then I think there was one before it, and I don't know much Dragon Ball games before Ultimate Battle 22 because I never played them. So Randy, what is the answer?
Do you want to guess Ultimate Battle 22?
Sure.
You're correct. It is Ultimate Battle 22.
Oh, that is the first one. Okay.
The first fighting game, yes. There's a previous RPG game where he did use it, and that was Dragon Ball Z 3, Resen Jinzo Ningen for the Famicom. So
where Trunks uses it.
Where Trunks uses his sword in an attack, yeah.
There's not like a Dragon Power game where a character uses a sword in there? Oh, I guess you're saying Trunks specifically.
Trunks specifically.
Gotcha.
Because he's always got it, but then sometimes he just won't use it. Like the opening to Final Bout shows him like cutting down robots, but then he doesn't use his sword at all in the game.
Oh, so interesting. Dumb. Okay, so it is Ultimate Battle 22. That's awesome.
And then in Budokai 1, he has it but does not use it. But Budokai 2, he has an attack that actually uses it.
Yes, I love that. I love combining his Saiyan armor look with the sword because he still he can do that. And it's like that. Where did he get the sword from? Oh no! I think in the game he actually has the sword hilted on his person. So like Saiyan armor and with the sword around his back, it looks so cool.
Because it's just a costume. It's still the same character, same moveset, so you have to have the sword. Otherwise, it would just appear out of nowhere. Question number 2. Has there ever been a fighting game where Gohan got to use his training sword in-game?
No. There has not been. I'm just saying no. But I want to know. No. I want to hope I'm wrong and that there is, that there is one.
You were wrong. In Super Dragon Ball Z, adult Gohan, normally his default has the Z sword, but you can select to use his training sword on his back instead.
No way.
Yeah.
In like the side-by-side 2D fighter, not 2D, but you know what I mean? Like, no way. I didn't know that. Yeah, that game was wild with how many like great things it like, referenced. It had Chi-Chi on the Nimbus Cloud and everything, and oh man, that's so dope. I like I said, I suck at those kind of fighting games, so I didn't pick that up too much. I think I played it a little bit just to get. I don't know if there weren't achievements in that game yet at that time, but just to like mess around with it.
So no.
Yeah, just to mess around with the game. I played it, and there's so much in that one.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of love for it. I think I maybe have played a match or two. It didn't really click for me, but maybe I should give it another try.
Yeah,
I got a final one for you. And this one's a doozy.
They're all doozies for me. This is a doozy. I hate you.
I'm sorry that I'm sticking with this character because I don't know. There's a lot more to him. Name one villain who Trunks fought where the sword didn't break.
Where the sword didn't break.
Yeah, name one where it didn't break.
Okay, so it broke with 18. 18. It broke in the future. No, who it didn't break with? No, I can't think of it immediately. Who else does he have combats with a sword? Because it's the androids, and then by the time Cell appears, no, he has it with I don't know. I'm just gonna look like an idiot and give up because me trying to guess was not good podcast time. So let me add it. What is it?
Doug, I'm so disappointed in you.
I should name one character where it doesn't break.
Yeah,
17. So I guess before 18 breaks it. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Frieza.
See what I mean by putting me on the spot? This is stuff that everyone knows and everyone's yelling at me for. Like, Doug, you dummy. His introduction. Of course it wouldn't break the first time he shows up. Why would it break the first time? Yeah, duh.
But yeah, otherwise, if he whips it out against the androids, 18 breaks it. In movie 7, fighting, 14, it breaks and cracks.
Yeah. No, I like that question though, because it does when does he use it and it doesn't break? That's what threw me off too. Like, wait, oh my god, you're right. It breaks so often.
Constantly.
Because it's not a special sword. It's just a sword. I love that.
We're always like, Trunks is so cool. He's got a sword. Like, it breaks all the time.
That's just a testament to how cool he is. He can have the sword broken and still be cool. So
It works because it tells us how strong the villains are.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? It sucks though because I was playing the beta for Dragon Ball: The Breakers came out for this weekend, and you see the what is it? The Time Patroller Trunks, and they keep fucking up his hair in video games. It it doesn't look really cool like it does in his intro of Dragon Ball Z. It kind of seems very bowl cutty. I don't know. I want to throw that out there that the video games kind of get his hair wrong because they're limited to what video games can really do. Like they don't have that flowiness of it. So unless Fighter Z is the exception, but
yeah, man, that's a bummer where they just can't get it right.
Yeah,
but hey. Trunks is still cool, and swords are still cool.
We are now the exclusive Trunks podcast. We'll have Mary on every other episode to join us.
I felt kind of bad last time we did an episode, and I didn't even bother to be like, "Hey, Mary, what are you up to?" But I'm like,
we can't bother her for every time we bring up Trunks.
We should
every time a not related to Trunks episode, we just like mention Trunks. Oh, we got to call Mary and see what she has to say about it.
Call her in on Skype. Hey, Mary. We just said Trunks. Oh yeah, Trunks, and then that's it.
Yeah, that's all we need.
So, just wanted to tell everybody thanks for listening to our dumb voices. We love interacting with you, keeping in the conversation via our tweets about weapons. And it's our favorite franchise in the world. And if you want to talk to us some more about it, you can tweet at us at WeGotAPod. You can email us at WeGotAPod@gmail.com. Doug, tell me some more stuff.
We want to thank Rifti Beats for letting us use his track Kakarot theme hip hop trap remix. You can find it and other great tracks by Rifti on his SoundCloud.
Heck yeah, man. I want to thank our sponsors. And Doug, where can people find you?
Find me as Jabaz or Jabaz Doug on the socials. Randy?
You can find me at Saber_Breaker. And make sure that you follow Doug on TikTok because this dude is funny. Like, he had a PS5 one, and I laughed my ass off.
I was on a roll making, like, TikToks. I was having fun with it. And I think I said on our last episode, my roommate actually, like, pointed out to me that he was listening to it, and he said that I started off saying, "Oh, yeah, I haven't got COVID yet. I must be immune." The day after we recorded that, I got COVID. So this past week and a half, 2 weeks, I have been just, like, I only had like bad cold symptoms, not bad COVID symptoms, but it still felt like shit, and I just couldn't create. I couldn't watch TV. It was the worst. But I'm trying to pick it back up again. So yeah, TikTok.
Right.
I bought myself a PS5 as a I survived COVID treat to myself.
There you go.
And because Sony invited me, like, you want to buy one? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Of course I do. So yeah, go follow this man on TikTok. Give him your TikTok Genki so that he can his spirits can be lifted and he can get back into creating the great things that brings me joy.
Validation that's all it's good for is social medias.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's it. Please subscribe to the show. Tell your friends. If you could post a review, that would also super help us out. And we'll catch you next time, guys and gals.
See you later.